Texas, on February 15th, 2014. Sir, can you tell me your name?
I'm John Graw.
Can you give me your date of birth, please?
Okay, 4/4/41.
April 4th, 1941.
Right.
Okay, do you know that you're being video recorded?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me where you were born?
I was born in Wyoming, close to, I was born at a ranger station. My father was a ranger, and I was born at the ranger station, and he had to bring the doctor in on a toboggan because about 2 weeks before they were skiing and he broke his leg, and my dad had to set it for him. So that was...
What ranger station was that?
I forget the name of the ranger station. Ryan Park.
Okay.
And now that's a little city there now. And it was in the southern part of central Wyoming.
In the Wind River Mountains, or?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because when I was 18 years old, he joined the Army for World War II. And I don't remember him for 36 months until he came home, and we were in Montrose, Colorado then. And I wonder who the strange man was in the house. So, but that changed then.
Did he go back to working for the Forest Service?
Yes, and his next ranger station was at Leadville, Colorado.
Okay.
And it included Cooper Hill, which was where the 10th Mountain Division trained. And so anytime he went to, on the weekend, went up to Cooper Hill, I always tagged along. So I started skiing when I was 4 years old.
Oh, that's great.
So
did you spend your growing up years just around ranger stations doing that kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm.
What after Montrose? Where else?
Well, Montrose was where my mother was born, and her family lived there. Mm-hmm. And that's why we moved to Montrose when he was in this war. And then after at Leadville, my mother had to get down to lower elevation because that was over 10,000 feet. And so we went to Durango, Colorado. And I went through high school there. And I was going to college at Western State College at Gunnison. And I worked 2 years building trails around Silverton, Colorado, from the Combine Ranger Station.
So in the 50s, were you still around Camp Hale and those places in the 1950s?
Yeah.
Were you? Do you remember the training that was going on there of the Tibetans and that sort of thing?
No, Camp Hale, they tore the whole camp down after the Second World War. There was a mistake made that they wanted to tore Camp Hale, California down, and they missed the state, the abbreviation, so they tore Camp Hale down.
Really?
In Colorado, yeah.
Well, so you finished high school where?
At Durango.
At Durango. And then you went working on trail?
Yeah, for 2 years, and then I went smoke jumping. At that time it was called the Inner City Airport, and now it's called North Cascades.
Where?
Washington. State of Washington.
By Winthrop?
Yes.
So
a twist in Winthrop, yeah.
Oh, okay. So how did you end up going from Durango out to Winthrop?
Well, I applied for the smoke jumping job, and I got it.
Were you going to school at the time?
Yes, I was going to college at Western State College.
Western Colorado, or?
Colorado.
Yeah.
And and then I jumped 2 years there, and then that was 61 and 62, and then the Cuban Missile Crisis came along, and I got very patriotic and joined the Army.
I see.
And
well, but going back to your experience as a smoke jumper, so you showed up at Winthrop. How big was your new man class?
Our rookie class, I'm trying to remember, it was about 12 or 15, somewhere in there.
And do you remember
We're pretty good.
Do you remember your training?
Yeah, I remember the training, but I don't remember too many of the guys.
Yeah. Do you remember your training, the training officer, or who
Oh
drove you
yeah,
through?
Bill Moody was one, and Kay Johnson was the two guys that took us through most of the training.
Yeah. And what was your general impression of the whole operation?
It was great.
You thought it was good?
Yeah, I thought it was good, and catching the fire small is the best way to do it. You know?
Yeah. Well, did you get 7 practice jumps or training jumps?
5.
5.
Train jumping, and then we went in. We were just put on the jump list, and then we jumped when our name came up.
Do you remember your first fire jump?
No, I don't.
Do you remember your first parachute jump?
Yeah.
What do you remember about that?
Oh, I thought it was great. You know, it was.
What were you jumping out of?
We were jumping out of Twin Beaches,
Yeah.
and you jump out there and you see your parachute open and everything, and then it just got so quiet, and it was wonderful that you could see so much.
Yeah.
And come on down, and so I didn't keep a jump list or a jump log. I should have, but you know, when you're that age, you don't think of things like that. And but I know I got 13 jumps the first year, 13 jumps the second year, and 1 rescue jump.
What was the rescue jump about?
2 planes was flying there Norfolk, like going up towards Mount Baker, and they didn't have radio contact. And well, once he saw one, his air partner wasn't there, so he flew back and saw where he crashed, and so he came over to the jump base and reported it. And Francis wasn't there. I'm trying to think of Francis' last name. He's one of the original 4 jumpers. I don't remember. He was gone that weekend. It was 1st of September, so it was Labor Day weekend. And the only jumpers were there that lived around there, and they called us when we came in. And Neufeld, I believe it was, he was an assistant manager of the base, and he couldn't make up his mind what to do. And we told him, well, you know, we would jump for nothing. And he said, well, who would pay for the gas for an airplane? And we said, well, we would. And it went on, and finally, about 4 hours later, he got a word from Washington to go ahead with the jump. So we did, and it was real sad. It was there was a young boy, about 10, 11 years old, that was in the airplane, and he climbed out the airplane. And when he climbed out of the airplane, he vomited and got vomit stuck in his throat and everything, and died because of that. And the pilot had both his legs broken, and so we had sort of a hard time getting the pilot out of there. And then they brought a chopper in from Spokane, Washington, from the Air Force Base there, and the only trouble was you couldn't have anything over 18 inches high, because it was the double blade that you know, that came down so low. And so we found a metal that looked like it didn't have anything that high, so it came in and landed there and picked us all up and threw us over to it was either Omak or Okanagan, the airport there, and dropped us off, and then they went on back there. But the pilot survived, all right. But about 2 weeks later, I got this real nice card thanking me for what I did, and it was from the mother of the boy who died. And so it was.
How many of you jumped that fire? How many jumped that situation?
I think 8 of us did.
Oh, okay. So you could carry the guy over there.
Yeah, and we had to carry the boy out too. and plus all our equipment, and so that was, and it seemed like it was pretty tough at first, and finally we got into some places that had some meadows, and we could walk through the grass.
Well, what was that? What was the terrain like where that plane went down? What was your impression of it when you first saw it?
Just heavy forest. It
Yeah.
was heavy forest there, and it went down. And it wasn't. It didn't try to land any place. It just went down.
Yeah.
And from what the pilot said, that the engine just stopped,
Yeah.
and he didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
And he just went down in the forest.
Did you guys have any medical capability with you?
Oh yeah.
What'd you bring along?
Oh well, our regular first aid kits, our big first aid kits, and so on. There at Winthrop, we went through quite a bit of medical training. We had spent when we were our first 2 weeks, we spent 2 to 4 hours a day on it.
Yeah.
And so how to carry, how to get people in the stretcher and carry the stretcher out, and so on.
Yeah.
So I thought we had pretty good training there
Yeah.
for that.
What about the other jumps, the regular fire jumps?